Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, Pack has given us a list for Swordsoul in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. This is what he prefers, or he calls the Goo. If you don't know who Pack is, he's a YCS champion and just overall great player when it comes to the game. Mostly plays the TCG, but does play Swordsoul in Master Duel quite a bit. And with that being said, this is the list that he ended up making, and I wanted to test it myself to see how good it was. Because, you know, he got pretty lucky in his video. Let's see how this works out for us. Now, I obviously did play this on stream, and I got horribly unlucky. Again, mostly luck had to do with it. I didn't feel like the deck was inconsistent or anything like that. It was just... I just had a bad time. So yeah, let's quickly do the card by card and the explanation. Now, the reason that he decided to build this deck was because Denglong was going to 1 in the TCG, so he wanted to test some Denglong Swordsoul stuff, and this is the list that he came up with, playing more Yang Zings and stuff like that. So let's actually start with the Yang Zings themselves. We're playing 3 Chi-Wen. Chi-Wen is able to revive itself from the graveyard, and then also on top of that, it has the standard Yang Zing of when this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Yang Zing from your deck. Pretty simple, except for itself. All of the Yang Zings have that effect, and they're all when effects, except for Denglong, notably. Denglong is great. It's an if effect on all of its effects, because Denglong is a good card. Anyway, moving on, we have G2, which also has the ability to, if you control another monsters, you can send 2 Yang Zing cards from your hand to graveyard to special summon a Yang Zing with 0 attack, or a Yang Zing monster with 0 defense from your deck. Now, notably, this is not used. The main reason that we're playing this card in particular is it's a 2. That's it. You send it off of Denglong to make your Denglong a 2 in case you need to go into something like a 8 or a whatever it may be, right? A 9 or something like that. We then have the 3 and the 4. So the non-tuners have the same effect, which is during your opponent's main or battle, you just synchro summon using only Yang Zings. So I'll show you the combo for that in a second. But yeah, there you go. Then we have, of course, Denglong himself. If this card is special summon, add a Yang Zing card from your deck to your hand. Also, you can send a worm monster to the graveyard to change this card's level to that card. And if a face-up card leaves the field, you can special summon a Yang Zing to your field. So notably, this means that if you were to use it as synchro material or as a link material or something like that, send it to the graveyard, you're able to then special summon a Yang Zing. You are also able to send another worm, so there's that. Which means you can send something like Chi-Wen, which would then revive itself if a monster is destroyed, which is very nice, allowing you access to a Chi-Wen when this card is sent to the graveyard. On top of that, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can then potentially special summon something like, I don't know, this guy, which then could allow you to synchro summon. So basically what you do is you search out your counter trap, the counter trap then pops, and negates, shuffles away the card, then pops the Denglong. Denglong will then trigger the Chi-Wen as well as itself in order to summon the Beyond. Beyond will then be used to go into Herald of Arclight on the opponent's turn to give an additional negation since you have the 3 and the 1. That's the ultimate combo that you kind of want to do, but that's not always what you're going to go for. So let's talk about the rest of the cards. We're maxing out on the good Tenyis, and we're playing 1 Mapura. I honestly don't agree with this decision at all. There were a lot of instances where Mapura was actively disadvantageous for me because I didn't have Shathana. Shathana would have been just better in most instances, being able to crash something like my Monk in order to deal with a problematic card, and then special summon back the Monk would have been way better and just give, additional protection, whereas Mapura doesn't really do that. The reason Pack stated in the video that he chose to play the Mapura was because of additional attributes for Protoss, and to that I say, yeah, but you also have things like Ash Blossom or the Fire Yang Zing or stuff like that. You're never really, wanting for for attributes, so having additional waters doesn't really matter. Also, you're only playing 3 Moye. That's not a lot. You don't really have that much access to Moye in particular, so giving yourself another water really isn't that big of a deal. But yeah, just slight variation. One card I would change there. And then we're playing the triple Vashada, triple Ashrana. Pretty standard there. Next up, we have the Sword-Souls, maxing out on all of these. Triple Moye, triple Taya, triple Ecclesia, and the double Long One, of course. And then the triple Protoss as well. Protoss is just a powerhouse. It's a good card to reveal. It's a good card to just special summon from the hand. You don't really want to, like, search it oftentimes. It's just more advantageous to just already have it. So there you go. Very good card. And it allows us to play things like Pot of Desires and not really have to worry about that. Then, of course, we're playing the triple Valor, triple Ash Blossom, and triple Maxi, as well as triple Infip for the hand traps. Moving on to the spells, we have one Yangzing Path. This is to search off of Denglong so that we can potentially shuffle back some of our other Yangzings that we had sent in order to draw additional cards. That's the idea. I honestly think that this has mostly bricked me, more so than it has done good for me, but as I mentioned, get unlucky. This is one that I would personally cut mostly because I think that there are better cards that we could play. Triple Tactics would be better in my for me, just being able to look at my opponent's hand and be like, that one, or steal a card or something like that. I feel like it's just more advantageous. This is just kind of a brick. It's fine. We have the triple Pot of Desires, triple Vessel. We have the triple Swordsoul Emergence, the double Called By, the triple Heavenly Dragon Circle, and that's it for the spells. Moving on to the traps, the triple Infip, the 2 Blackout, and the 1/9 Pillars. Pretty standard. There's only really 2 hard bricks. There are a few soft ones that you don't want to see a whole bunch together. But yeah, all in all, it's fine. I would have liked Crossout. I think Crossout would have been better instead of the Yangzing Path. I think Chi-Wen also isn't necessary at 3. I oftentimes found that I drew too many of the Yangzings, so there's that. I still found the deck consistent, though. It was just, again, unlucky. Moving on, we have the 1 Herald of Arclight in the extra, the 1 Denglong, we have 1 Yazi, we have the 2 Baxia, we have the 1 Draco Berserker, we have the double Qishao, 1 Chaofeng. Now, Chaofeng actually is a lot better in this build, because you can actually make Chaofeng and then also have a set 9 pillars, which then gives you access to the Chaofeng effect to search out something like, I don't know, an Ash Blossom or an Effect Veiler to then interrupt your opponent even more, which is absolutely crazy. On top of that, you could potentially summon back something like a Chi-Wen, which is also very strong. Then we have the Baron, the Chenging, the Qixing Longwan, and 2 Monks, and the 1 Shaman. I never actually had the 3rd Monk ever come up, so there's that, but it could have occasionally. And then, of course, the Shaman. So yeah, that's it for the list. Let's hop into the duels and show you how this deck performs. Alright, so here we are going first, and yeah, Chi-Wen. Nice. Notably, this actually does it. But we're going to start off with the Pot of Desires and draw off the top. Okay, maybe we won't play the game. I'll just pass. Now, notably, my opponent made me go first. So I'm like, alright, this is most likely Numeron. So if it's not, I'm going to lose. But if it is, and I summon something, I'm going to lose. So I'm taking my chances. Honestly, I'm like, alright, what can you do? Kill me? And then they reveal that it's Numeron, and I'm like, okay, did they draw the instant win button? That being the, what is it? The quick play spell, the limiter removal. And they go to battle, and we live. Fantastic. Hooray. Let's see what we can do on the following turn. So they're going to go into the Avramax, and I go, Avramax? I can deal with Avramax. Had they made the big, unaffected guy that's only affected by, like, spells and traps, and Xyz, I would not have been able to do anything there. But we're going to go Ecclesia. Ecclesia is going to summon Taya. Then I'm going to normal summon the Moye, reveal the Protoss. We're going to go for the Moye effect here in order to grab up the token, grab up the Qishao, Moye, draw into Maxi, very funny, and then search out the long one. We're going to go for the tie effect here. Then we're going to go for the long one. Long one is then going to go into the Changing here, and we are going to burn for 12. We're then going to activate the Ashana effect, locking us into worms, but that's okay because now we get to banish my opponent's card and the other card from their grave, which doesn't really matter. Now we can go for Denglong. We're going to do some interesting Denglong plays, but yeah, we were able to deal with the Avramax very easily, and my opponent scoops, realizing the game is over, and hip hip hooray. Now that didn't really show you what Denglong actually does, so in this one I will show you what we can do with Denglong, I promise. So we're going to start off with the Pot of Desires, and we are going to draw off the top path. Sure, that's fine. We're going to go for the Ashana here, and then we are going to go for the Moye. Moye will then go into the Chi-Xiao, and we will activate the Chi-Xiao and the Moye, and then we will grab up ourselves two pretty good cards. We're then going to link off for the Monk of the Tenyi, and then activate the effect in order to send Chi-Wen. We're going to search out the Adhara off of this. We're then going to activate the Emergence in order to grab up the Long One. Long One will then activate its effect, and we will special summon the Long One, and then go for the Ashana here. Special summon the Long One and the token, then go for the Ashana here. Ashana is going to summon the Mapura, which will then allow us to go into Baxia. I know, weird, stick with me. So, we're going to go for the Baxia effect. We're going to special summon back the Moye. Then we're going to activate the Chi-Wen, because the Chi-Wen we sent earlier off of the Vessel, I believe. Yeah, we sent it off of Vessel. So now we have the Chi-Wen, which was able to summon itself thanks to the Baxia, popping, and special summoning the Moye. Hey, that is a 4 and a 1. That gives us access to Denglong. Denglong out comes he. We're going to search out the 9 pillars. We're going to activate the effect in order to dump a Taya so that we can get ourselves a 4 so that we can go for the Chenging. We're then going to activate the effect of the Long One as well as the effect of the Denglong in order to grab up the Chi-Wen. And we are going to activate the Adhara now to banish itself and grab it back the Chi-Wen as well. And then we can link off those two to go into Shaman of the Tenyi. Shaman of the Tenyi is going to pitch the Chi-Wen and then special summon back the Chi-Wen so that we have something for the 9 pillars. But this also puts enough materials into the deck in order, into the grave to go for the 9 pillars, path. Sorry, not 9 pillars. We can go for the Yangzing path in order to draw 2. So hey, drawing it ended up helping. And then we draw into the most hilarious of cards, that being Blackout. We drew Blackout and another Vessel, which is very nice. Then we're going to use our Light Chi-Wen and the Grandmaster in order to go into the Chaofeng. Now, Chaofeng is locking my opponent out of activating any effects of light monsters. We also have the Path. We have, 9 pillars. We have Blackout. We have Infip. We have Effect Veiler. We have the Chenging as well. I'm feeling pretty confident, so there you go. So, my opponent is going to start their turn. They're going to go for the Allure of Darkness. They're going to then banish Lunalight Crimson Fox. Okay. Now, I'm feeling pretty confident again because we have Effect Veiler, Infip, Blackout, 9 pillars, all of which just absolutely hose this deck. We could just pop our own Shaman, which also works. Also, Chenging by himself kind of just wins us this game, just by existing. So, there's that. They're going to go for the Tenki here to search out their Kaleido Chick. They're going to then send to the graveyard the Perfume, and then they're going to go for the Kaleido Chick. Kaleido Chick is going to send, then they're going to go for the Tiger, and I go, I don't want that. No. So I go for my Blackout here because Tiger is scary, and we're going to protect the Long One so that we can then banish. So this is actually more so to banish the Perfume that is currently in the grave. Didn't matter, they had the other Perfume, whatever. They're going to send the Emerald Bird, then they're going to activate the Perfume in order to send another card to grab back another Tiger, and out comes the Tiger. I'm going to, again, just immediately negate that and pop my own monster. I just really do not want to deal with Tiger. It's too good of a card. Shuffle it away. No, none of that. It's fine. We're going to go for the activation here. We're going to special summon out the Chi-Wen, and then add to our hand the Ash Blossom. They're then going to go for the Polymerization. I'm like, yeah, that's totally fine. Out comes the Cat Dancer, and I'm like, sure, why not? They're going to grab up the Polymerization once again. They're going to go to battle and attack over the Chi-Wen, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to negate that. I don't want to take the 100 damage that you could possibly deal to me. But that's fine. They're going to then just... They're at 400. I have Chenging. Cool. Anyway, I'm going to activate the Shaman. They're going to just concede right there, realizing, yeah, the game is over. So, there you go. Lots of interaction. Cool. Alright, I'm going to say this right now. Denglong was used very weirdly in this game, and ended up being very important. So, yeah, do keep that in mind. So, we're going to start off with the Adhara here in order to go into the Monk. Then we are going to normal summon the Taya, and Taya effect is going to go for the Adhara. Then we are going to go into the Qishao. We're going to activate the effect of the Qishao as well as in sequence the Taya. Taya will send the Ashana and then grab up the Emergence. We're going to go and activate the Emergence in order to grab up Protoss. Then we are going to go and activate the Ashana effect in order to special summon out the Vishada. Then we can link those two off into Shaman to give us enough material in the grave for the Protoss called Dark, and pass the turn. So it's basically just Protoss called Dark and a Qishao, but in all honesty, we do also have 2 cards in our hand. I'm sure I could have done something differently. I could have also gone for the Denglong line, but I don't think Denglong would have been as useful as something like this, especially with things like the with Tier running around as prominent as it is. I think Protoss just happens to be very good here. So that's why we ended up doing that. We're going to go for the Maxi here. My opponent is then going to go and show me that they are not on a special summon heavy deck in Dinomorphia. So they're going to go and activate the Dinomorphia effect. I'm going to negate that with the Qishao, to the which they will then set for and pass. Cool. Now, they were still locked under the Dark effect of Protoss, but that doesn't really matter. But again, first things first, in main phase, I'm going to activate the Protoss called Dark so that they cannot special summon anything, and that's a-okay with me. They're going to activate the Fusion spell of Frenzy here, and I'm just going to let that go through, even though I could have ashed it. Then they were going to activate Dinomistress, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. Trap Trick. Have you read Ferret Flames? Let me tell you, I hate this card. I hate this card with every fiber of my being. It's so poorly designed. It has to be insanely powerful for what it does, because if it wasn't this powerful, you would just immediately win the game. I just still really don't like the way that this card is specifically designed. Anyway, small tangent aside, I now lose my entire field because of this card. Cool. And there's nothing I can do about it. And they also get a monster. Yay. 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 Dinomorphia. Do you guys like Dinomorphia? Let me know in the comments. Actually, don't let me know, because I might ban you for it. Just don't like this deck. It's that simple. Why would you? What does this deck do? What's interesting? We're sitting here because I have nothing to do. My opponent has entirely outed my board, and I can't really do anything. Cool. Let's see if I actually draw something playable here. That's the best draw in the deck. Fantastic. We're going to go normal summon the Moye. Moye effect is going to reveal the Protoss. Then they are going to go for the Alert. Okay, out comes the Kentragina. Kentragina effect is going to reveal, send in order to go for the Frenzy here. Then they're going to go for the Rextrum. Interesting. So here's where things get fun. We're going to go for the Vessel here. We're going to send the Vashada. We are going to grab up the Ashana. We're going to activate the effect of nothing because called by the grave. You love to see it. Anyway, we're going to go for the Ashana here, and we're going to summon out. What is that? Why are we summoning out the Adhara? Why wouldn't we have not? Because here's the thing. We're going to go for Denglong. Denglong doesn't have any attack points. Now, I have no idea what the set card is, and I need to kind of play around that. Also, they still have Rextrum. Rextrum can just make my attack be 0, so I kind of need to go into the Denglong here. So we're going to go for the Denglong line, and it does have 0 attack points, which means that it just ever so effortlessly plays around Rextrum, which is very nice. So we draw into the Infip off of the Moye, which is kind of interesting, and we add the 9 pillars. We're then going to send the Chiwen so that we have additional follow-up for the Denglong, and then we are going to banish the Adhara to grab up the Taya. We're then going to banish 3, which we do have to banish the Chiwen. Kinda sucks, but not really anything that we can do. I want the Protoss on the field to give us additional protection. So we're going to special summon the Protoss, set the 9 pillars, set the Infib, and pass. We do have Taya as follow-up. If we can deal with this Rextrum, that is the overall idea. They're going to go for the card of Demise. I'm going to go, no, to the which they will go, okay. They're going to go to battle. They're going to walk into the Denglong. Hey, Denglong triggers here. We're going to go for another one of the Yangzings. I activate the Infib here, thinking that I can activate my Yangzing, but it turns out you have to use other Yangzings to actually get the effect. So I'm like, oh, I was thinking I could have gone Baxia there to spin a card, specifically the Rextrum. That would have been great. Alas, I cannot. That was my bad. Should have definitely kept the Imperm, but oh well. We're going to go for the Beyond. They're going to walk over it. Then we're going to go for the Jiaotu. Again, here I maybe should have gone for the Chiwen. Doesn't really matter all that much, as you will see. We do have enough in grave now for the Yangzing Path, so I'm going to activate that. We're going to put 3 back, and then we are going to go and draw 2. We draw into Vashada, which is fantastic. I'm going to hit this back row. They're going to go for the Rextrum. I'm like, I'll bite. Hit the 9 pillars. they hit the Sonic. Now, notably, Sonic does have an effect where they don't take battle damage. However, it's only for one attack, so I don't care. That's fine. I just need 2 monsters before Rextrum. Or actually, they already activated the Rextrum, so I literally do not care at this point. I just need 2 monsters over, like, at 1300 or more. And we end up finding that with the long one. So we're going to activate the long one. We are going to pitch the Maputo, which we ended up drawing off of the Pot of Desires. We're going to summon out the Changing. And, hey, did you know Changing's effect is not an activated effect? Crazy. So, yeah, we now have a 5500 to a 500 attack point monster. I think this game is over. And so did my opponent. Good game. Now, I know what you're saying. Long one effect is going to burn them. That's what's going to... No. They had an effect... in one of their traps in the graveyard to protect them from taking effect damage for the rest of the turn. So they weren't going to die to the long one effect. They were going to die to the battle. That's what was going to happen. They were going to die to the battle. So there you go. Cool. Alright, we're back with the deck, and in all honesty, this deck does really well. I don't know if this is necessarily the best way to play Swordsoul, but I wouldn't necessarily say that the 40-card variant is the best way to play either, especially right now with, like, tier and stuff like that being as prominent as it is. I do think a 60-card version does work pretty well against tier, which sounds very weird, but it just kind of does. Yeah, I also think that adding Denglong into your combos, along with some of the Yang Zings, is advantageous. You could also just add the single Yang Zing in the Chiwen in order to, like, send it off of the Denglong or stuff like that. So you could very much cut that down in a, like, 40-card variant if you wanted to, but Denglong is still a very good card, allowing you access to a counter trap with a float and all of that stuff, meaning you're just able to do a whole lot off of this one card, and Swordsoul does take advantage of that pretty well. Also, the 60 cards isn't really that big of a deal. Yeah, as I mentioned previously, I've even done another video with OCG lists of Swordsoul that aren't playing things like Denglong or anything like that, and honestly, those were also very good. I don't know quite what is the best version of Swordsoul. This is pretty good. I've also seen 40 card be very good for me recently, and I've also seen the other 60 card variant. But one thing I do need, I will say, is Protoss is absolutely insane. Play 3 of this card. Pretty simple. That's basically the biggest takeaway from any of this. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, like us very much, so appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.